Hello and welcome back to the Learn and Listen podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. We're continuing our lesson on how to describe your daily routine in English.
That's right, Alex. We'll keep speaking slowly and clearly to help our listeners understand every word.
Perfect. Let's start by reviewing what we covered in the first part of our podcast. Emma, could you remind our listeners of the main phrases we learned?
Of course, Alex, we learned how to say,
Excellent summary, Emma. Now let's expand on these and add some new phrases to describe our daily routines in more detail.
Great idea, Alex. Let's start with morning routines. After waking up, many people like to stretch. We say do stretches or stretch to describe this activity.
That's a good habit. For example, you might say, after I wake up, I do stretches for 5 minutes.
Listeners, can you try saying that? Pause the video and practice. After I wake up, I do stretches for 5 minutes.
Great. Now, let's talk about grooming. Besides taking a shower, what else do people do to get ready in the morning, Emma?
Well, many people brush their teeth. We say brush your teeth to describe cleaning your teeth with a toothbrush.
Right, and we often say comb your hair or brush your hair to describe making your hair neat.
Let's have our listeners practice. Say I brush my teeth and comb my hair every morning.
Perfect. Now, what about breakfast? We mentioned having cereal earlier, but what are some other common breakfast foods?
Good question, Alex. Many people like to have toast with jam or butter. Toast is bread that has been heated until it's crispy.
And some people prefer a heartier breakfast. They might say, I have eggs and bacon for breakfast.
Let's break that down for our listeners. Eggs are a common breakfast food that come from chickens. Bacon is a type of meat that comes from pigs.
Exactly. Listeners, can you try saying, for breakfast, I have toast with jam and a cup of tea?
Great job. Now let's move on to commuting. Alex, how do you get to work?
I usually take the bus to work. We say take the bus when we use this type of public transportation.
And I drive to work. We say drive to work when we use a car to get to our workplace.
Some people might also say ride a bike to work if they use a bicycle, or walk to work if their workplace is close to home.
Excellent. Listeners, try saying, I take the bus to work every day, or I drive to work in the morning.
Now, let's talk about activities we do at work or school. Emma, what are some common phrases for this?
Great question, Alex. At work, we often say attend a meeting when we participate in a scheduled discussion with colleagues.
Right, and we might say give a presentation when we share information with a group.
For students, we often use phrases like take notes to describe writing down important information during a lesson.
And do homework to describe completing assignments at home after school.
Let's have our listeners practice. Say, at work, I attend meetings and give presentations, or at school, I take notes and do homework.
Excellent. Now, what about after work or school activities, Emma?
Well, many people like to exercise. We might say go to the gym to describe visiting a fitness center.
Or go for a run if someone likes to jog outside.
Some people take classes after work. We might say take a language class or take a cooking class to describe activities.
Great examples. Listeners, try saying, after work I go to the gym, or in the evening I take a cooking class.
Perfect. Now let's talk about evening routines. Alex, what do you usually do in the evening?
Well, I often cook dinner. We say cook dinner or prepare dinner to describe making the evening meal.
And after dinner, many people like to relax. We might say watch a movie or binge watch a TV series to describe watching multiple episodes of a show.
Some people prefer quieter activities. We might say read a book or listen to music to describe these.
Let's have our listeners practice these phrases. Say, in the evening, I cook dinner and then watch a movie.
Or try, after dinner, I like to read a book and listen to music.
Excellent. Now let's recap all the new phrases we've learned today.
Great summary, Emma. For homework, we want our listeners to write a detailed description of their daily routine using as many of these phrases as possible.
Yes, start with I wake up at and end with I go to bed at. Try to use at least 10 different phrases we've learned.
And remember, practice makes perfect. Try saying your routine out loud every day this week.
That's all for today's extended episode of Learn and Listen podcast. Thank you for joining us.
We hope this helps you describe your daily routines in English more confidently.
Goodbye, everyone, and happy learning.